Phosphor Dot friends, Earl at thelogbook.com, back in the arcade. Yet again, we're back in 1979 to play some Galaxian by Namco. Released in the US by Midway, which was the beginning of a beautiful friendship between the two, because of course Namco's next big thing, as we all know, was Pac-Man. And so that friendly licensing agreement was already in place. And it's safe to say that Galaxian really was a game changer for the style of game that it was. Because whereas previously with the Space Invaders style of games, you had these guys lined up like it was a shooting gallery at the state fair, now they're dive bombing you. Now they are actively attacking you. Because there was finally enough processor power to pull that off, instead of just enough processor power to line them up like a shooting gallery at the state fair. So, as soon as Galaxian was out with this innovation, a lot of other games started aping that, and it really became the new normal for this style of game. Just having the aliens lined up in a neat row at the top of the screen was no longer going to cut it if you wanted your game to pull in people's quarters. So let's give it a shot. I hope I have the sound mix on this right. I do actually read the comments occasionally about the sound mix. One thing you have to understand is, number one, I squeeze these out in my spare time. And number two, there's kind of a delicate balance between, there's a little dance going on between the speaker output level on the machine that's playing the game versus the line input level on the machine that's recording this. And sometimes I don't always eyeball it just right, and I apologize for that. I hope this is an occasion where I get it just right, because this game gets a little bit noisy. I have no idea what a Galaxip is. I guess that is my ship. And they do straight up kamikaze you. And the aliens will, they'll go for ramming speed if they feel like that'll take you out. After all, there's only one of you, and there's a whole bunch of them. You also notice it's not a very high-scoring game. Especially not if you play it like I do, which is, in a word, badly. Let's give it another shot. The one thing you cannot do in Galaxian, the one thing it is important not to do, and yet a lot of us do it, even me, sometimes just out of instinct. Don't let yourself get caught in the corner. I lucked out there. I didn't luck out there. I lucked in. What does that even mean? I survived. Oh wow, I have the high score. Oof. Ow. 3650. I don't think I have ever personally hit a 5-figure score in this game. And come to think of it, I'm not sure I have ever seen anyone do that. You can only have one shot in the air at a time. If you fired a shot and it's just traveling lazily up to the top of the screen without hitting anything, you have to wait for it to clear the top of the screen before you can fire again. So you can't just hammer the button indiscriminately. It won't do you any good. That won't do you any good either, just for the record. Just FYI there. Sounds like the phone's ringing. It's probably my imminent doom calling me. Yeah, I think I hit my peak with that 3,650 point game there. So there you have Galaxian from 1979. This game did benefit after the fact, simply from being a game from the makers of Pac-Man. The Atari 2600 got a port, which we have already covered. But if it's an indication of how innovative this game was, this whole business with, okay, the aliens are not just going to are not going to march back and forth in neat rows. They are now going to attack you individually. It wasn't until '83 that we got Galaxian on the Atari 2600, because it took that long to figure out enough tricks and workarounds with the 2600's chipset to be able to pull the game off on that platform. It happened a lot sooner for the Atari home computers, for the Bally Astrocade, even for the 5200. It happened sooner than it did on the 2600. And I'm not sure Galaxian really gets enough credit for how much of an advance it was in the gameplay of this particular genre of game.